Hello, and welcome to Guerilla Theater. It is 1969 and abortion is illegal in the United States. And yet between 200,000 to 1.2 million illegal abortions occur each year. The civil rights and black power movement are rocking the country, unsettling white supremacy and racist segregation across the nation. The Vietnam War is in its 5th year, and an anti-war movement is also raging across the country, with some of the largest demonstrations ever before seen in the U.S. Abortion is illegal. The concept of sexual harassment does not exist, because legally a man can rape his wife. And although there's no women's liberation movement, there is a small group of doctors and liberal reformers who have become worried about the casualties associated with all of these illegal abortions. They see it as a public health concern, and they want to allow some abortion reform on some of the laws in certain situations. So please join us now in 1969 in New York City for one such reform hearing.
Well, maybe she could apply for an abortion if she's catered into society and had 5 children.
I think 4 is enough.
No, 6.
Well, maybe if she's been raped.
How would we know if she was telling the truth?
What if she's insane?
Well, what if it's like a near-death attack?
I think that would work.
She could prove to a committee she's mentally stable and apply for an abortion.
Yes.
Well, maybe if...
Wait. Let's hear from the real experts on abortion.
Today, this panel of doctors, clergymen, and other professional experts are picking apart the abortion law. They're about to tell us in their usual daddy knows best manner just how much control over our reproductive processes we should be allowed to have. But the only real experts on abortion are women. Women who know the fear and the pain and the socially imposed guilt of an illegal abortion. Women who see their friends panic over a pregnancy that they didn't want and cannot go through, not knowing if they'll end up dead or in agony from a post-abortion infection.
Women who've had children by the wrong man at the wrong time because no other doctors would help them. None of your reforms would help me.
Women who know that any of these things could happen to them.
Any woman can tell you, abortion laws are sexist laws made by men to punish women.
We don't want to reform sexist laws. We want to repeal all laws on abortion.
Girls, you are so rude. I'm a doctor, for goodness sake.
Yes, we're on your side. If you could stop squealing and acting hysterical, you'd see what
We are only trying to determine the best moral way for you to serve your debt to society. No more, no less. Be reasonable, ladies.
I'm sick of being reasonable. Society owes women the right to decide what to do with our own bodies. I'm sick of taking responsibility. Men don't take any responsibility. The man screws you, and then when you tell him, honey, I'm pregnant, he says, oh, wait a minute, how do you know it was mine? I mean, weren't you sleeping with anyone else?
Or he says, wait, what am I gonna do? What is he gonna do? The man isn't the one who has to have the baby or have the abortion. But the people we have up here telling us what to do with abortion law, 14 men and a nun, they're not the experts. The experts are the women who are in this room. The experts are the women who are going to have an abortion. But nobody has listened to us.
That's why we're here, to bring this issue home. It's not about the philosophical implications. It's not about the religious. No one here is an expert on abortion unless you've had an abortion, or you might have to have an abortion.
When I had my abortion, I knew I couldn't handle having a baby. I wasn't ready for it. I had things in my life that were so much more important to me, to my own development. When I got pregnant again, I knew I could handle it. I could raise a child, and I did. I've got a daughter, and I'm a mother, and I've got all the feelings of being a mother. But that doesn't mean that when I had my abortion, I was evading responsibility. It means that I had the decision to have a baby on my own time, not having someone force it on me. And every child should be brought into this world that way, as a wanted child. There's another point involved here, and that is that women's bodies are used as a tool in a power structure. People don't want to legalize abortion because then there'd be a breakdown in the power structure. Women are a tool. We're a possession, and we are owned. The thing that we carry is also owned. And if abortion were legalized, a man can't threaten you in the same way.
Yeah, that's right. But the thing about it that really irks me is that I never got any credit for any of the good things I did. No one ever said, wow, she's going to college. Gee, she's studying to be a scientist. No, there was none of that. Nobody ever really paid much attention to me until I got pregnant. And when I did, everything changed. Suddenly, family I hadn't seen in years started coming out of the woodwork saying, I'll support you, I'll support this child. But as soon as I decided that I wasn't ready for that I wasn't going to take on that function right now, all of that love and support just instantly disappeared. Even the social workers who were supposed to try to help me make this decision tried to make me feel ashamed, that there was something shameful in giving up a child. Sometimes I wonder if it would have been just less shameful if I'd had an abortion, but I couldn't because it was criminal and illegal.
If you don't want the pregnancy, the reality becomes very, very clear that you are sacrificing your life when you go to a hotel or get into a car on Lexington Avenue and 34th Street. You're blindfolded and they're taking you somewhere you don't know where. You don't get an anesthetic. The instruments aren't sterilized. You get an infection. It could keep you from having children ever again.
Never again.
And this is what women go through. This is our debt to society.
This act of women's liberation movement by the women who would start Red Stockings and New York radical women led to the first abortion speak out that followed it. This movement lit a fire in women, and soon groups were popping up all over the country, all over the world even. New York was the first to legalize abortion in 1970, just one short year after this militant organizing. And since New York had the strongest women's liberation movement, women flocked to New York City for legal abortions. Now, a young attorney named Sarah Weddington attended, that's her, a feminist consciousness raising meeting where she spoke to women who had had illegal abortions. And this experience inspired her to represent Jane Doe in Roe versus Wade. She was 26 when she argued before the Supreme Court in 1973. And she had only 30 minutes to make her argument. And this movement, this proud, brave movement, like you've seen a peek of tonight, is what led her to fight for that cause.
Fuck yeah!
That's right. The Supreme Court legalized abortion in 1973 with the Roe versus Wade decision. Now, this was largely seen by movement pioneers as insufficient because of the original asking for you to repeal all laws on abortion. But at the same time, it was a relief for millions of women and a huge victory. But in Canada, they won the repeal of all rights on all laws on abortion. Because there, abortion isn't regulated by the government. It's a woman's choice, period. okay? We have to demand repeal again and not have to face these 1,000 little cuts to abortion access. We must have, in women and girls' hands, all the tools to control when and if we get pregnant. So join National Women's Liberation today. Join it, or make a decision to make a continuous, sustained nation as we continue to fight for these demands. 1.
An end to racist and sexualist assault and all forms of bigotry.
2.
Reproductive freedom, full access, and no coercion.
3.
National health care for all.
4.
A $15 minimum wage for all workers, no exceptions.
5.
Protection and expansion of Social Security.
6.
Child care. Free, like the public schools and paid family leave.
7.
Repeal of all abortion laws.
And 8. Respect. We celebrate Roe tonight. It has made our lives, women and men, so much better to have the relief of abortion as an option to a pregnancy scare. To have the morning after pill over the counter. To have birth control included in our health care. See, these are rights that we have to fight to hold on to. But we also have to keep fighting to push forward the women's liberation agenda. So please, join us.